Hello, friends, and thank you as always for visiting the Legend Sports Universe YouTube channel, Legend Sports Universe, where legends play forever. This is just going to be a very, very short broadcast. We are just setting up the final week of the regular season of year 2 of the Franchise Stars Baseball League. The last broadcast that we did was the finale of the big 3-game set at the Metrodome between the Cleveland Indians and the Minnesota Twins. The Twins were a game back at that point of the Tribe. They lost the finale there of that series. So the Indians had a 2-game lead at the end. So that was on September 24th. So then what happened was I simmed the next week to get us to the final weekend of the season. We're going to set some of this up here. So for that following week, the White Sox entered that week still in the hunt for the wild card. They were 3 games behind the Twins, so the White Sox were kind of on their way of getting phased out. But they were still in it. They were going to try to get themselves back into it for one last dash. In the National League, the Pirates, if you remember, had the big 3-game set in LA against the Dodgers. The Pirates and Dodgers fighting for the second wild card spot in the National League. That series was considered to be a hugely pivotal one, and the Pirates went in there and frankly laid an egg. The Dodgers swept the Pirates at Dodger Stadium, which many people felt was going to be the end of the Pirates season. That's not exactly how it went. We'll get to that one, though. We'll start here in the American League. So the White Sox, again, we finished up on the 24th. The White Sox problem with trying to catch the Twins was going to be they had a 3-game set against the Yankees. The White Sox dropped 2 of 3, getting routed in the final 2 games of that series, 10-0 and 9-3. That combined with this result. The Twins go into Kansas City, take 2 of 3 from the Royals. That eliminates the White Sox from playoff contention. It also secures the playoff spot for the Minnesota Twins. So the Twins, who had the 10.5 game lead in the division, as of the All-Star break, the Twins they lost that lead, but they secured the playoff spot. But they still don't want the wild card game. The Twins want the division. The Indians went on to go and host the Detroit Tigers. They took 2 of 3 from the Tigers. So now we end up in a final 3-game set. This division is still undecided. The Indians will host the Royals. The Royals are at the bottom of the AL Central again, 64 and 95. Things look good for the Indians. The Twins have a much tougher road because the Twins are now going to head to Los Angeles to face the Dodgers in a huge 3-game set. The Dodgers trying to secure, as we mentioned, that second wild card spot in the National League. Their battle with the Pirates. The Pirates came out of last weekend, again at the end of the day on the 24th. The Pirates now trailed the Dodgers by 1.5 games for the second wild card. The Dodgers were hosting the bottom-feeding Colorado Rockies. The Pirates were going into Cincinnati to play a 2-game set against the Reds, who were still technically alive on the fringe of the wild card spot. So the Pirates had their work to do, knowing that the Dodgers were probably going to fare well against the Rockies. Well, the Pirates went into Cincinnati and took both games from the Reds. Game 1 of that series, the Pirates win it in 11 innings after blowing it in the ninth. The Reds score 3 in the ninth to tie that game, but the Pirates win it in the 11th, 5-4 to take the opener of the two-game set. Then, in the second game and finale of that series, we'll check out the box score here. The Pirates score 6 runs in the 8th to come back and defeat the Reds 9-5. So the Pirates do their part. They go into Cincinnati and sweep the two-game set from the Reds. Now, of course, they were dependent on what the Dodgers would do. Again, the Dodgers playing the Colorado Rockies at the bottom of the American League West. Well, perhaps the Dodgers spent all their energy trying to beat the Pirates, because not only had the Dodgers dropped 2 of 3 to the Diamondbacks, who also stink, they were swept at home by the Rockies. The Dodgers score 4 runs in the 3-game set and get outpitched by Colorado. That situation means that the Pittsburgh Pirates are now, despite being swept by the Dodgers in that big 3-game set, the Pirates are back in control of their own destiny. A game ahead of the Dodgers entering the final series of the regular season. So, the Pirates will go, as we mentioned earlier, the Dodgers have the 3-game set with the Twins, which is huge for the Twins because the Twins are still trying to chase down the Indians. So the Twins are going to come in there loaded for bear. The Dodgers have dropped 5 of 6 since sweeping the Pirates and are going to now try to right the ship for that 3-game set. Preacher Rowe and Jim Cott, the scheduled pitching matchup for the opener. Clayton Kershaw and Bert Blyleven scheduled for Game 2. And then Game 3 of that series, the last game of the regular season, potentially with huge implications for both teams. Again, the Twins are assured of a playoff spot at least. The Dodgers fighting for their lives. That finale of the regular season set to be Dazzy Vance and Johan Santana, which should be a fantastic matchup if it comes down to that. For the Pirates go into Milwaukee. The Pirates host Milwaukee. A 3-game set at Forbes Field. Bill V. Swift locking up with Corbin Burns in the opener. Babe Adams will pitch against Ben McDonald in the second game of that series. And then the finale, the National League's shocking ERA leader here in year 2, Ed Morris, 17-game winner, will get the ball against Chris Bosio. So, the plan broadcast-wise, I've now got to see this because I don't want to drag out 3 days of schedule and have it take an eternity. I would really like to get these playoffs rolling on Monday, and I don't know what my availability will be for the weekend. So we've got the Indians and the Royals. I really don't have a choice though, because I want to do the Twins Dodgers games because those are all so important. So I think what I'll probably do, and I'm not going to do this now, I'm probably going to do this tomorrow because I'm going to do at least one game, probably 2 in a broadcast tomorrow. But I think we'll sim the Indians Royals first game and then we'll kind of take everything else from there. I'm tempted to sim the first day for everybody and then take it down to the Saturday Sunday games and then I'll broadcast any of the games that matter on the final 2 days is kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm undecided about that, so I don't want to start simming it now. But that's the playoff situations as we have it. So Beatles Pirates they won games. Listen, the Pirates, by all rights, given the makeup of their roster, considering that, as we've mentioned a bunch of times, that the Pirates don't have many of their real top guys, that the Pirates are even in this spot is a testament to them. They've had a great season. But they could have easily folded their tail between their legs after getting swept by the Dodgers, and they didn't do that. They won the 2 games they needed to against the Reds. They got help in surprising fashion from the Rockies, and now the Pirates are back in control of their own destiny, which is stunning to me, frankly. So we'll see if they can get it done. The Brewers are now out of it, so the Brewers really have nothing to play for except being spoiler. Um, so we'll see how this all shakes out. But the Pirates making the playoffs would be an interesting one. If the Dodgers do manage to make the playoffs, that will mean that of the 10 playoff teams in year 2 here of the FSBL, the only um, the only new playoff team would be the Twins, who will replace the California Angels. Um, the Yankees will be the division winner in the East. The Red Sox will be the wild card, so those 2 teams will flip. The Mets have won the National League East. The Expos are the wild card, so those 2 teams have flipped. Dwayne's asking the Central. Magic number is 2 for the Indians. So that first game, so all the Twins Dodgers games mean something. It's just theoretically, like if I did every game of Indians Royals, Twins Dodgers, um, and Pirates Brewers, that's 9 broadcasts, and that kind of seems a bit overkill, frankly, to do. So I think, well, I'll probably sim the first day. I'll probably sim the Friday, and then we'll take the Saturday and Sunday, and go from there. Tex says it's going to be Oakland, San Francisco again. The Giants have been ridiculous. We'll get to the Giants. Remember, the Giants were hovering around 500 out of the All-Star when they got to the All-Star break. They had lost the division lead to the Dodgers by a half game, if you remember, on July 15th. Then they routed them in a game broadcast here on the channel on the 16th to reclaim the lead. And then the Giants went absolutely nuts. They went 7-1 to wrap up July. And then they went, 5-1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-1 after that. So it's 7-1 and 16-1. So 23-2, 23-3, 26-3, 26-4, 27, 28, 28-5, 32-5. They went 32-6 from the All-Star break through the end of August. And that's how the Giants went and built up their lead again in the National League West. 32-6. That is just an insane run by the Giants. The other reason I'm not simming games because I got to make sure I can set up rotations because I don't want anybody starting their aces on the Sunday because I want to make sure that everybody's rested for when the teams that can set up their rotations properly. I'll probably set lineups to rest some guys, for the Yankees and the Red Sox and teams that are locked up into their positions, the Mets and the Cardinals and the Giants. So I just got a couple of machinations I want to do before I start simming games. Not risk any unnecessary chances of injuries the last 3 days of the season for teams who really have no reason to risk anything. I want to actually finish that out. So 32-6, and then in September the Giants went 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, 7-3, 7-4, 8-9, 9-5, 10-5, 11-5, 11-6, 12, 13-6. Then they got swept by the Padres. All right, but 13-6 up until that point, by which point they had well clinched. So the Giants went 45-12. 45-12 from the All-Star break until September 21st. That is just a staggering run by the Giants. Um, yeah, they got swept by the Padres, but that doesn't mean anything. They'll get 3 games again from the Padres to finish the season. Giants will be going for 100 wins for the second straight year. Take another quick look. Um, but as Tex was saying, the Giants and A's are the presumed teams. The Cardinals ended up winning 92 games, and they haven't felt like that. They really haven't. The Cardinals haven't felt like a team that was going to win 92. The Mets actually are ahead. So the Mets are playing to try to stay ahead of the Cardinals so that they can get a more favorable. Well, actually, no. Probably it would just be home field for the Mets and the Cardinals because the Giants have already clinched the best record in the league. So the Giants would get whoever comes out of the wild card game. So the Mets and Cardinals will lock up in the division series. So they're just playing the fight to see who gets home field advantage in in that set. In the American League, the Red Sox have locked up home field for that wild card game, presumably against the Twins, but not necessarily as of yet. The A's are going to try to technically, if the A's sweep their final 3 game set, the A's can actually top last year's mark. They won 111 last year. If they sweep, they'll get to 112. Who do the A's play? A's play the Angels in the 3 game set. Hudson, Waddell, and Grove going. Here's the interesting one. Here's the situation for the A's. That's amazing. I think it was Dwayne I was talking to about this the other day. The A's are so good that in theory they could leave Rube Waddell, last year's outstanding pitcher winner, out of the rotation for the postseason. Out of the 4-man rotation. He's actually got the highest ERA of the 4 starters. Um, I'm actually inclined to just let the A's go with a full 5-man rotation in the postseason. I don't think you sit Waddell. Um, this lets everybody get the full rest. They don't have to make those 3-day rest decisions like other teams might have to. And it's not like Waddell's been terrible. Yeah, I mean his ERA is a tick over 4 if I remember right. 4.14. Still 13-9. He's striking out more than a batter an inning. He's given up a few more hits this year than last year. He's walked a few more guys. But I mean, if Rube Waddell is your number 5 guy going into the postseason, you're probably in pretty good shape. Um, so the A's will play whoever comes out of that wild card game, and then the Yankees should have locked up home field. Yeah, the Yankees have locked up home field for whoever, whether they play the Indians or the Twins. Um, Let me see if there's anything. I don't want to go on too long here. Like I said, this is just I wanted to kind of set up the final weekend of the season. Any good races? Jimmy Fox pursuing the Triple Crown, but he's 10 points behind Jeter. So it would be a really big ask to ask Fox to catch him. Jeter has been settled in between 340 and 350 for the better part of 2 months now. So Fox would have to really have a storming final weekend, I think, to catch him. But still, a terrific season for Fox, who's got 2/3 of the Triple Crown, the other 2/3 in no doubt. He's up 6 in home runs over Ken Griffey Jr. So Fox has kind of pretty much locked up the American League home run crown, and he's 12 RBIs ahead of Jeff Bagwell for the American League RBI crown. So Jimmy Fox right now, I mean, he's got to be MVP. 335, 49, 139. That is about as good as it gets, folks. So Jimmy Fox, I'm pretty sure, has to be your American League most valuable player. In the National League, let's see, is the National League batting race still up in the air? Willie Mays leads Ken Boyer. Boyer has had a fantastic season for the Cardinals. Mays still leads him 343 to 335. Bryce Harper's in the hunt too. But Mays is going to miss out. Mays is also pursuing the Triple Crown, but he doesn't have enough RBIs He's 15 RBIs behind Bryce Harper. Mays also missed, I think it was like 3 weeks. He had an MCL sprain in his knee, which may very well be what cost Mays the Triple Crown. But even so, Mays 343, 47, and 103. So just a terrific season for Mays, who may very well win the National League Most Valuable Player award. Although Bryce Harper will give him a challenge for it, but I think Mays is the winner there. Let me see. RBIs, Harper's kind of locked in. Home runs, Mays is locked in. Let's see. ERA wins. Rue Marquardt, Howie Pollitt, and the rookie Dizzy Dean all have 20 in the National League. Addy Joss has 22, and Whitey Ford had 20 before he got hurt. The Whitey Ford situation is going to be a huge impact on this postseason. Ford, partially torn pectoral muscle, suffered in his first start of September. The Yankees have said, so 1 to 2 weeks left for Whitey Ford on the injured list, which basically means that if the Yankees can they won't be able to activate him before the division series, but if the Yankees are able to make the American League Championship Series, they should, in theory, get Whitey Ford back, which would be huge, to say the least. But so Josh should lock up the wins thing. He's got a 3-win lead on anybody else who could possibly, who's in the vicinity. We'll see if Marquardt, Pollitt, or Dean are pitching this weekend. I'm sure they are. Pollitt and Dean, I mean, that home field advantage against the Mets matters. So those guys, if those guys are due up to start, they're going to start. ERA, Ed Morris has run away with the ERA title in the National League. Cannonball Ed Morris, who last year, Morris 14 and 14, 3.06. So Morris wasn't bad last year, but he's been terrific this season. So he's locked up the National League ERA title. The American League ERA title, Eddie Plank leads at 2.37. Addy Joss, Cy Young, Frank Tanana, Pedro Martinez, rounding out your top 5 there. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like there's any real races for stats. We'll keep an eye on the Fox Jeter one, but I think that one's kind of academic at this point. Lefty Grove leads in strikeouts by 6 in the AL. Dizzy Dean leads Koufax by 2 in the National League. So that could change, but those are minor in the grand scheme of things. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to kind of go through it quick, set up the final weekend on the docket. Again, the way I think I'm gonna do this is I think we're gonna go. I'll sim the Friday games. What's the Twins Dodgers? Cotton Row. Yeah. All right, you know what? I'm actually going to do it now. We're going to sim the Friday games, and then we'll decide the broadcasts for Saturday and Sunday. Because I really do. I want to get to the point where I know I can start the playoffs on Monday. And I don't know what my time will be like this weekend, so I want to make sure I can get through things. So we're going to sim through. Oh wait, no, I'm not going to do that because I still want to adjust the lineups and rotations for the other teams, so that no extra guys do. So I'll take care of all that tomorrow. There will be at least one, probably 2 game broadcasts tomorrow, and then we'll get to the home stretch and get to the playoffs of season 2 here in the FSBL. Really appreciate you guys checking in. Thanks, Tex. Yeah, it's been fun. Like I said, I can only hope the playoffs are anywhere near as fun as last year's were. I got very, very fortunate. So hopefully we'll be able to duplicate that. But greatly appreciate the support and the interest from you guys. As always, Tex Ags, Dwayne Marks, Beatles, Eternally, Ken Castro, Bernard Strom, a pack of baseball luminaries here in this late night chat. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you here on the channel tomorrow for some season wrap-up baseball. Be good, guys. We'll talk soon.